Danny, thanks for coming for this interview. I'm
That's
really
my pleasure.
excited. I'm really excited to have you because I know that what you do is you help people find partners, and I think that's really valuable for my people. I think that especially some of the beginners, that's like an overwhelming thing and it keeps them small. They really don't get to the point where their business succeeds because they don't partner. So I really want to talk about this. I don't do a regular introduction because you're going to introduce yourself, basically, is how it's going to work. So, my first
Mhm.
question, Danny, is who do you serve and who are your clients?
I serve established coaches and consultants. They have a list and they have an offer, but they are looking for a better way to bring clients on board. The people I work with I would describe, are people who are collaborative rather than competitive. They are not predatorial type of people. They're people who like working with naturally, are more inclined to work in partnership with other businesses. So they have a preference rather than having to really go out and pitch and hustle and sell. They like having a situation where they are working with like-minded businesses who refer clients to them or who promote them, and it means that they have people coming into their orbit who are warm and pre-sold.
Sounds good to me. One of the things I want to add about that, because I just wrote about it in my email today, because I just earlier today I spent some time with meeting somebody, a partner, and we were supposed to go on for half an hour. We went on for an hour because we just had so much fun together. And I think we just kept on talking about different things and not getting down to business because it was so much fun. So I think one thing that people sometimes forget about is that besides partnering being good for your business, it's also really nice to work with other people. It can be a lot
It's
of
fun.
fun.
It's
Yes, it's
fun.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So these people, these established coaches and consultants, what's their problem? What's their need? And what are the symptoms of the problem?
I think their problem is that a lot of them already are sold on the idea of partnerships, but it hasn't worked very well for them.
Oh, okay.
They are finding three kind of obstacles, three challenges that they're coming up against. The first one is that they are not meeting the right people. So
Okay.
they are basically connecting with partners where the audience isn't the right fit, and the offer's not the right fit. That's the first challenge. So they don't know, they're not meeting the right people. They don't know how to go about meeting them. And then also the second problem is that when they do meet partners, it doesn't work out very well. They agree to work together, and somebody drops the ball.
Mhm.
They have a webinar coming up. They were counting on you promoting it, and somehow you never got the memo about it, and you don't show up. So that I think that's people. I've had people say to me, "Oh, I've given up on JVs. It just doesn't work. People keep letting me down." And I think the third challenge, and I think this is something that I hear probably above all, is that I met somebody, they're full of promise, they're aligned with my business. The results were lousy, and I don't know why. So it's if either any one of those things are missing, you're going to struggle to get results. But people keep coming back to the fact that yes, I know that JVs work. I see other people doing them very well. What am I doing wrong?
Right. Okay. So let's talk about what they might be doing wrong. My next question is,
Mm.
what are the common mistakes that people make or the obstacles they face when they're trying to solve this on their own or with other solutions?
I think the biggest problem is the fact that businesses who go into partnerships, they often have a very transactional mindset. They're going into this meeting in terms of what can you do for me? And if you do this for me, what will I do for you? There's this very kind of quid pro quo mindset. And maybe we learn bad habits in the business that we do with other people. I think a lot of networking that people do, a lot of networking groups almost encourage that kind of quid pro quo mindset. And to really have good relationships with partners, you need to be going into that with a much more generous attitude of your business. Your business sounds very aligned with mine. I really like what you're doing. You need to start off by putting yourself forward and saying, "This is great. How can I support you? Are there other people you'd like to meet to work with?" I think that it sounds like your masterclass is great. Can I share it with my audience? Don't, put yourself out there and actually offer to help other people. That's what a partnership's about. I'd actually go as far as to say that the reason that you will decide to work with somebody initially is, you know what, I like what they are doing. I think it's something my audience will benefit from, right? That needs to be the initial motivation, because if you don't feel in your heart of hearts this is something you can actually go and tell your audience about, then it's not a fit.
Right. No,
Right.
I
So
agree. I agree with that, but
before
I
you even
think
ask them to do anything, right?
right,
Is this
right,
something that your audience will benefit from? That's
right.
the
No,
starting point.
absolutely. And if
You promote something that's not your audience won't benefit from, you're going to lose the trust of your audience. So it's really an
Yeah,
important
yeah. I'll
thing.
give you an example. There's someone who I really like. I really like the work he does, and he said, "Yeah, I'd love to support you. Can you promote this a masterclass I'm doing?" And he told me his masterclass was all about passive income. And I actually looked at the content and I thought, this is not something my audience this is not something that's going to resonate with my audience. And actually, it's not going to help me, but it's not going to help him either,
right.
because I'm not going to be able to send any people his way if it doesn't resonate with my audience. So I just went back to him and said, listen, what else have you got coming up, maybe later in the year, that I can tell my audience about?
That makes
That's what I'm
sense.
talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what's unique about your
Solution that helps people avoid those mistakes and overcome those obstacles so they can finally solve their problem.
So what I do is very, very much about processes, right? When you go into a joint venture, you've got to have a process. And that means that from the very beginning, right, when you decide that you might want to work with somebody, uh, are you doing proper due diligence? And proper due diligence means not hopping into a quick 15-minute meeting to say, what's your offer? What's your audience? What's your price, etc. And all right, this is what I do. Let's work together. Right, spend a bit longer. Right, if necessary, get on 2 calls to really go in deep. Like, what is your program? Who is your audience? Right, what are they struggling with? What's the before and after state? Where were your audience before you started working with them? Where are they when you finished? Uh, and even to the point of, you know what, I'd love to work with you. Do you think you could send me a replay of your masterclass?
right?
I just want to see if this is something that my audience is going to it's going to resonate with them. So I think it's just slowing down a bit and actually following a process where you're quite thorough in assessing whether this is actually going to be a match for your audience, and whether the offer that they're selling is something that your audience are going to actually take to.
One of the things I sometimes ask people, and it's a kind of weird thing
To do, it's almost like you're challenging them, but they'll say, I solved this problem, and I go, how do you solve it? And they'll say something like, well, I teach them sales skills, or I teach them this, or I teach them that. And I say, well, like, what are some of the things some of those skills? Like, you're basically asking them to like spill the beans and tell you what you do, but
Mm.
it's very hard to evaluate what they're doing unless you know some of the principles that they're actually teaching. And so sometimes you have to, it's very similar that if you're promoting, let's say, whether it's a PDF or a course, to ask for the copy of the actual course and see what they're actually teaching.
Oh
That,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that kind of thing.
Absolutely ask for the copy,
Right,
because sometimes you see the offer and you see the copy and you think, my goodness, no, I can't in my good faith promote this. It
exactly.
doesn't feel right.
I
Yeah,
have, I have had that experience. Yep.
many of us have. Many of us have.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to know how you gained all your expertise and how you turned it into a business. So it's a little bit of your story.
Sure. So I mean, firstly, I've been networking and collaborating for best part of 20 years, right? I started off going to BNI meetings, as so many small business owners have done. This is going back to 2002. I was very impressed by the fact that in so many networking groups, you have a power circle. You have a core of businesses who really have a lot in common and really make a concerted effort to look out for each other. So I did notice that when you are when you're collaborating with other businesses, when you meet regularly, when you make a point of as we do, when you make a point of catching up regularly and like touching base and what are your offers, what are you doing at the moment? you're much more likely to think of each other. And that means when opportunities come up, you're in a much better position to help each other. So that's been a constant theme, of keeping people top of mind. But I also I worked at Mirasee for 2 years and oversaw numerous launches and oversaw or collaborated on numerous launches and giveaways and summits and webinars and so on. And what I saw with the difference between people who do well at JVs and people who don't do well at JVs is the ones who do well have a process that they follow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what benefit, goal, objective, or outcome? Sounds pretty repetitive, but do people achieve who follow your advice?
The people who follow my advice, they will find that joint venture partnerships are by far and away the best way for them to get their perfect fit clients. Because let's take advertising as way of example. There are exceptions. There's some people who are incredible at advertising, but for most business owners, you can find an audience on your ads that fit relatively well, but it's never going to be as good a fit as a business owner that you met firsthand, where you know that the audience that they serve is similar to your audience and the offer that they have complements yours. If you think of it as a Venn diagram, you're right, the two audiences are going to fit very, very nicely in a way that other channels are not going to. So I think it's a very, very effective way to grow your business and enjoyable at the same time.
Yes, as we were talking about.
Mm.
So I'd like you to provide some kind of free, valuable resource that we can direct people to. I know you have a webinar coming up, but I'm not sure this will come out in time. So something evergreen, I think.
Well, this is quite an easy one to remember. So I have a webinar that comes out my webinars are on the last Thursday of every month.
Oh, okay.
It's called Joint Ventures that Deliver Perfect Fit Leads. So it's all about how to attract JV partners that are aligned with you and who want to promote you again and again. And basically, it's always the last Thursday of every month.
So I will put a link to that below, in the text, below the video. So that'll be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to? Is there anything I didn't ask? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I would just say a general observation is if you want to be an extremely popular business that everybody wants to promote, put yourself out for people, right?
Mhm.
When you're somebody who is putting yourself out for other businesses and offering to support them, people want to help you. And that actually goes back to my memories of BNI. They always used to say at BNI that if I help your business, you're going to want to help my business. But it is absolutely true. Whenever I put myself out for people, I always get other businesses responding and saying, yes, and what can I do to help you?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think that's good. Good advice. Okay, thank you so much, Denny. I think this will
My
be
pleasure,
helpful
Alan.
for
It's been
people.
lovely speaking with you.